Right, we'll call this special city council meeting to order, Monday, November 29th, 4 p.m. Roll call.
Cole Andruff.
Kurt Wayne.
David Paradise.
Tom Marslow.
Michael Sommerfeld.
Wendy Manson.
Jessica Bynwell.
Wayne McCormick.
Approval of the agenda.
So moved.
I will second.
Further discussion? Mr. Marslick.
Aye.
Mr. Paradise.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Ms. Andrioff.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0. On to business, resignation of Ms. Wendy Manson, effective December 2nd, 2021.
I'll make a motion to accept Wendy Manson's resignation effective December 2nd.
Second reluctantly.
Further discussion? My only discussion is just to tell Wendy thank you, because it's not often you see people nowadays, especially stick around in a place for even 10 years, let alone
24.
almost a quarter of a century. And
And a half, don't forget the half.
24 and a half. Make it 25.
it'll be a big loss with just all the knowledge that you have, especially about Montrose over the last almost 25 years. So.
I hear that Bob Chapman hired a band.
Your tape ready?
Yeah. You know, I'm kidding.
Ms. Andrea?
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Mr. Marslick?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Appointment of Mr. Michael Sommerfeld to City Clerk Treasurer effective December 3rd, 2021.
I'll make a motion to appoint Mr. Michael Sommerfeld to City Clerk Treasurer effective December 3rd, 2021.
I will second.
Further discussion on the motion? Mr. Marslick?
Aye.
Ms. Andrea?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Motion passes 4-0. The year 2022 final budget and levy.
Okay, so before you is our final budget and levy for 2022, our proposed final budget and levy for 2022. We did not change the levy part from the proposed one back in September. We left it at 100,000 for now, for discussion today. So the only thing different in these first 20-some pages of revenue and expenditures, the only thing different is we finished out all the rest of it. So like all the enterprise funds, water, sewer, I don't know what garbage, water, sewer, stormwater, and wastewater. So that's the only change over what we did in September. So I don't know if anybody has any questions about that. With the addition of, there's going to be some discussion probably in the January meeting or December meeting about raising a few of the rates to in the water, and I think the stormwater, wasn't it? Basin sewer maybe. Because in 2022, the only payment you're going to have for this road project is going to be interest only. So the 2022 payments are going to be pretty small for the big project. But starting in 2023, you will have principal and interest, and water, I think, wasn't it like 160 or 70,000. Sewer was just a little bit under. Stormwater, you're probably gonna have to keep collecting with the levy, like you're going to do with the streets themselves, because stormwater doesn't get enough money in it.
Even if we increase it.
Yeah, I mean, so we'll be talking about that probably at the December meeting. But with that in mind, we put everything in and we're able to make all of our funds, water, sewer, and wastewater and stormwater, these come out positive. So we'll have our revenue will be higher than our expenditures at this time. So you'll be sitting, enterprise funds are sitting just fine. They're all holding their own. But you, just in anticipation of those bigger bond payments, we thought it would be easier to start raising the rates just a little bit this year and then go forward again from there to make sure you can make your payments. Because the water fund has to pay the water portion, the sewer fund has to pay the sewer portion. So unless anybody has any questions regarding the numbers themselves and the revenue or expenditures, I don't know if you had a chance to look at it, if there's anything that stood out to anybody.
Oh, it helped sitting in there going through it all.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know if anybody has any other questions. Otherwise, on page 20, or page 32, we kind of did a comparison of the different funds. This is basically the expenditures. So this is what we're saying we're gonna spend, so that's our budget, what we're gonna spend. So as you can see, from 2021 to 2022, some of them have gone down, some have gone up, like, council went down a little bit. Elections, of course, it's the election year next year in 2022, so that went up a little bit from this year. Otherwise, there wasn't a big change, like I said, other than the 100,000 that we talked about earlier. And then with Park and Rec, some of them went up, some went down. So. With no garbage, yeah, the garbage, because we don't no longer budget for garbage, so that's a big difference right there.
Yeah.
And then, we'll have the final numbers for all of this at the December council meeting too.
So usually we don't put all of this in there, this whole entire thing.
Yeah, it's usually just a couple pages like this.
Yeah, we put like that, we put in like this comparison. And then we'll put in the next page is, page 33, is our tax capacity. We usually put that in there. When we did the preliminary budget, my guess was 2,882,000. It actually, right now, is sitting at 2,885,872. That's from the county. That's their estimate. They never get the finals until January, February, but this is pretty close. So the tax capacity actually went up.
Went up from what's here?
So in the preliminary one, I had 2,882,000, and now in the final, it's 2,885,000.
Oh, I
In the
see
final
what you
budget.
mean, okay.
So the tax capacity went up. So I don't know if you remember in the preliminary budget, we talked that when we talked about at the 100,000, the tax rate would have been, I can't hold too much. At 100,000, the tax rate would have been 52.83, we said earlier, because of, I was guessing at the tax capacity. Now with the tax capacity, what it is, the tax rate's really 51.67%. Last year was 51.61, so it went up 0.06% because the tax capacity went up.
Well, I'd see here too that with the property values that
It's only going up.
Some of
a
them are-
small amount,
60 cents,
$1 maybe.
$1.20. I mean,
Yeah, so like this small one, this one that was in 2021, this house was like valued at 135. This year it's at 143,200. So that one jumped a bit. I mean, it's still only $43
In the
total for
value
the
of
whole
the
year.
house, yeah.
But the value of the house jumped. The other one, the value of the house was 260, or 258.6, and it only went up to 263.7. So their increase is only gonna be $27, $28 for the whole year.
and the taxable value comes from the county anyway.
Yep,
So we have nothing to do with that.
nope. And so at your December meeting, you'll have your truth and taxation hearing. So if people come, people are welcome to come because it's a public hearing. But the only thing they really want to talk about is the tax rate, how much we're taxing them. You don't talk about their assessed value, their assessed property value. They have to go to the county for that. And actually, they should have done that in April at the open book meeting. But, so if they do have questions regarding their property value, it could be somebody that just bought a house and they don't think it's right, they can go to the county and talk to the county about it. But you guys can't, you don't do anything about it.
I know the last time I talked to a couple of county commissioners, they were expecting a lot of those questions on, there's the 6th, is that when theirs is?
Yeah, I think so,
Truth and taxation for the county?
yeah.
Yeah, they were expecting a lot of questions about that because they're talking of raising taxes as well, again, so.
Yeah. So, like I said, in all reality, you should have your tax statements by now.
Yep.
So you should be able to look at your tax statement and see, how much your taxes actually would go up from last year to this year. And I can't imagine they're all very much. I don't know how much your value changed of your houses. Because as far as, like I said, the tax rate is pretty much a wash. So, if your house value went up, your taxes are gonna go up, which is
Right.
normal,
Yep, saw that.
yeah. Mine went up, mine at home went up about 200. I would rather have it go up 43, but it went up 200. So I don't know if you have any questions regarding any of that. If not, we'd like to present the one that's the 100,000 at the meeting on Monday night, in 2 weeks. Michael can present that. We'd like to stay with the 100,000 just because it's easier to go up that much each year. Like I said, because of the tax capacity, your tax rate only went up a 0.06%. It's easier to bump that 100,000 up this year, and then next year if you need to go up a little bit so that you can make that payment on the road construction. There's some, because there's one bond payment that's gonna be done now, so we'll be able to use that money that's already there. But it'll be, it's nice to have this little bit of cushion, so, because that payment's gonna be a big payment, and you're looking at 300-some thousand a year for that payment, almost 400. So that kinda helps. Along with the fact that a couple years ago, a year ago or 2 years ago, when you passed that street pavement
The 10-year
management plan or whatever, so you gotta have money in your capital improvement for some of those street construction projects, because you don't wanna do another bond. Because most of those are pretty minimal, they're 300,000 and 400,000, so if you have money in your capital improvement, and this is how you get it, by slowly raising it. It's not such a shock to everybody's system.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to present this to on the
At the
next council
100,000.
meeting.
Yeah, it'll be with the truth and taxation hearing. So basically, you will open the public hearing. Michael can start the meeting, or start that part of it with just, before you is the budget and the levy. So the budget will be this comparison, this 2022 will be the budget, 43,888. And that's what he's looking for. That's what we're asking for, is this as a budget, and the 1,491,000 as the levy, and that levy be approved as the proposed was, or as what's before you. And then if there's anybody there at the public hearing for questions, then they can come up for questions. And then you'll close the public hearing, and then you'll make a motion to approve the budget and the levy. You can do it in one motion. So not sure if you have any questions or anything about it, or? We'll do the second whack. We do up those every year, which is the access fee for when you build a new house. We automatically up those every year. So there'll be Jess will have the resolutions for that at your December meeting. And then what we were proposing for the changes in the rates. And I just got quite interesting, I just got a email from Cokato. I will send that to you. They're doing a rate study between us, them, Cokato, Howard Lake, Waverly, Montrose, maybe Watertown, I'm not sure who all was on there. And you'd be quite surprised what some of those rates are. I think Cokato's their base rate for water is $24. Their base rate for sewer, I think, is $23 or $24.
Yep, yeah, I actually went through and compared
Yeah.
mine with the rate increases
Yep.
that were discussed, and it was less than all of the other towns except Delano's.
Yeah,
And that was only a difference of like $1.20. So,
yeah, I mean, Howard Lake's base rates are like $18 or $20, so they're all pretty high, their base rates.
and we can't even compare it to Waverly, because they don't do any kind of assessment talk. They put that all in their water bills, so.
Like what do you mean?
Theirs is like $10 because they don't do any assessments. That's how they save their money for.
Oh, when they do street projects? Yeah. Well, at this 100,000, that's assuming that you're not going to do assessments either. I guess it's gonna be up to you guys what you wanna do. Because there was talk about not doing it, so by increasing it, they'll get to you guys what you wanna do when the project gets going.
Any other questions for Wendy?
Thanks, Wendy, good job as usual.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
At this time, we will be doing a closed session, so we'll ask everybody to leave except for council. Then you guys have to make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll make a motion to close the regular special city council meeting and go into closed session
Pursuant to,
pursuant to Minnesota statute 130.03 to discuss labor negotiations.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Mr. Marsley?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Ms. Andrea?
Aye.
I'll vote yes. We're now in closed session.
Thank you.
see you guys.
Yeah.